Today's episode of the Meet the Brave podcast is powered by Northwest Pizza and Pasta, where if you think the pizza is good, wait till you try hands down the best wings in the valley. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does wings like NWP. Order online now for takeout or delivery to save time. In the process, make sure you're listening to the Meet the Brave podcast. Our day one sponsors, Meet the Brave. Morg, thank you, bro. Also, today's episode is powered by Uplifters, Black-owned domino company where you can get custom-made dominoes, wooden boxes, shipped directly to you. Shout out to our brother Janelle for supporting us, and my amazing co-host for getting cooked every time we sit down. They don't even want to play no more. That's what's crazy. It's nothing you can do when you that nice. From Lex to LG, who else? Kevin Allen, Brookfield Deuce. Who else I be spanking? A.K.A. Frank, Prank, Jizzle, Squeak, my mama. Hey, I be baking Coco. Coco be getting baked in dominoes. Who else? Iman Europe. Who else I'm missing? I got a list of just a hit list of people I be spanking in dominoes. We're going to have a Meet the Brave domino tournament. Yeah, I'm going to be victorious.
I'm mad at that.
We need to because there's lies just floating around.
Yeah, it's time to put this to bed.
And in our last sponsor, the REEF Studios. You're looking at it if you're watching on YouTube. Black, not I always say black owned, but Lucas black too. Black owned studio down in the heart of downtown Oakland, and we've been surviving the pandemic while doors around us are closing left and right. Yeah. Book time. We're interrupting sponsors. Coco.
Hello.
I just got done talking about spanking you in dominoes.
Spanking who in dominoes?
Your brother, your mama, your nephew sitting next to me.
When were you dreaming about that, son?
Mom, when the last time you beat me in dominoes?
Every time I play you, I spank that ass. Don't play.
Hey! This is a kid-friendly podcast, lady.
Why you didn't tell me I'm on the air? Oh my God! Hey, happy Sunday, everybody!
Whoa! Y'all see the switch up?
That switch up was cold.
Happy Sunday, bless Jesus.
That's a cold switch up.
Saints of God, hallelujah!
Where you at, Coco?
I am on my way to see my little baby girls.
Oh, they gonna have a fit when they see you.
I know. I don't even think they know I'm coming. So.
Oh Lord.
What's going on with my podcast? What's up, Lex? What's up, LG?
What's happening? We just getting started, boo.
All right. Well, y'all need me to do what y'all need me to do? Freestyle? What?
You got bars?
I mean, if you got something in the tech,
I feel like we can go viral if I battle my mama right now on the pod.
You don't want this smoke, son. I'm trying to tell you. Where you think you got it from?
Battling your mama is crazy. Pray over us real quick before we start.
All right, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we just thank you for the podcast. We thank you for these 3 brilliant young men of color that are just amazing, and they are just positive and teaching us old people about this thing called life in a new way. It's a new form of therapy. I know I can't wait to hear what they're saying. So just continue to cover and keep them. Let no weapon formed against them prosper. Keep them healthy. Keep them safe. Let their enemies turn against themselves, no matter who they may be. And I just ask you continue to bless their numbers, bless the viewers, bless anybody that calls in on today. Bless Armani, bless Larry, bless Lex. Just let them keep on growing and growing. So I just thank you that I'm connected to such mighty men. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you. Go podcast. Go. I love you guys.
Amen.
Big love.
Love you, mama.
Love you.
All right, now practice on that domino. You can't count. You your daddy's son. All right,
Bye.
I love y'all.
Love you.
Bye.
Bruh, if somebody don't give my mama a show or something, that lady is funny.
You feel me?
Oh man. Get back to sponsors. Uplifters, Janelle. Follow Uplifters. The tag will be in the description. And I said that was our last one, but our last one is Let's Bubble Productions. Everything you see visually from Instagram to our YouTube is all done by Let's Bubble Productions, headed up by our brother Lex B.U.B. Let's get into the show. It's the Meet the Brave podcast. I am Mani Draper.
I am LG.
Lex B.U.B.
My brothers, how are y'all feeling?
Great.
Wonderful.
Today I'm trending up. trending up. There was a low there. And last week I felt really great. And still trending up. So it's good. And then coming back to the show, man, is always fun. I think the commentary during the week. I want to apologize to all of our people that listen via Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We did a 3-hour show last week, and the 3-hour shows have a harder time in terms of uploading. So if you didn't get to hear last week's episode, go to YouTube right now. Lex kicked that shit out in record time for it to be such a long podcast. Salute to Lex and Push on both of our post production side, man. We got an awesome team developing here. So episode 130. 5 technically. Oh, well, no,
it's
7.
It's technically 136.
6,
7. So, yes, technically it was episode 136, but we're calling it 135 that everybody missed out on from the audio. But if you want to go watch the video and listen to the audio, go to our YouTube right now, Mani Draper, and subscribe and then follow the Meet the Brave podcast playlist.
So moving forward, would our audio be 6 and then our video be 7?
It should be,
So is that,
but I messed it up.
Like that?
You want to keep it like that?
Huh?
I mean,
I feel like that'll be like the only one that's out there that's doing like the split like
offset.
That. Yeah.
Offset.
Like this episode 36.7.
Oh man.
37.8.
Man.
Who else got that?
Nobody. We are entering into uncharted waters for shows that start.
Also, I want to say, man, I appreciate y'all, man. I'll give y'all that energy early. I appreciate y'all because niggas don't have shit to talk about.
That part.
Like,
That part.
folks out here scrambling to try to figure out what the hell to talk about. That folks are so dependent on, like, what's going on in the world. And we be coming up in here talking about any or everything, bro. Like, so I can appreciate y'all on that because, like, we're not dependent on anything going on in the world.
No pop culture shit, and then just like sprinkle the pop culture shit in. So
Yeah,
it's like
you know,
cool.
like, hey, just so y'all stay well informed on some shit that we don't really give a fuck about.
Well, that's what's so tight. Like it always. I'm entering a new space where the praise and like support from your mom isn't this weird thing. It's like it's actually hella tight because she's. Well, at least my mom. I don't know about everybody, how everybody else's mom is wired, but if it ain't tight, my mom really, she has a hard time pretending to fuck with shit she don't like for real. So she be really tuned in and she'll hit me. She'll be like, you niggas are crazy. Or she'll be like, sure, she'll be in tears. Or she'll be like laughing hysterically. Like it, but her interaction with the show is sort of across the board representative of like the tap in I'll get from like random people, or where they're getting a unique, to your point, G, getting a real unique experience of the dialogue that we're offering and the perspectives that we're offering. Not saying that people always agree, but I don't know if it's as simple as agree or disagree, and that's the whole point. Like trying to figure out how to curate a space where our existence or our relationships aren't predicated on always having to agree with the niggas we fuck with. You know what I'm saying? As a means to just challenge and push, because it's like y'all niggas come in here and say some shit where I'll be like, bro, these niggas wild, and I'll be like, that kind of makes sense, or just different energies. Like y'all got both of y'all really. Lex be playing cool, but he really is sicko too, and just like not giving a fuck. Real like El gonna say. Cause I don't give a fuck. We talking about Kev last week, bro. I seen that clip and was dying because it was his face. It wasn't even how he said it. It was his face. Like he genuinely don't care, and that's ultimately like what we're carving out. It's like, yo, we can disagree, still have respect for each other, and still have these dialogues that push us further. And then you go out into the week and go, damn, Brett had a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the Schultz shit. Man, I listen to everything Schultz put up now, just to hear his perspective, and it's like it's really healthy in terms of sitting in that discomfort where you like, ooh, this shit making my skin crawl, and you're like, that wasn't that bad, you know. So that's where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah, there'll be some wild shit. I am interested. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the shit from Netflix yet, but it did get uploaded. So
Schultz saves the world.
Yeah,
Probably saves America. My bad.
I do like those sit downs that he was doing. I think he did like 6 or 7 of those before he got this show, but I'm interested in seeing that.
Yeah, man. What lot happened lot happened in our worlds this week. I won't say universally, but Verzuz, the uncles got busy last night. I told Elle and Poe last night. It's like, I think it's kind of inevitable if you come from a particular place that you just naturally just transform into an uncle. Like you just ramble. Hey man, how's your day going? You know what, brother? Look here, brother. Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
Don't begin a combo if you ain't trying to be sitting around for a bit. Because it's going to drop a lot of jewels on you. You got to just pick them up as you can.
Man. Versus, I mean, is there any like, shout out our listenership. Let me get there though. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Castbox, Simplecast, you name it, Google Playing for the next few weeks. Thank you. But our YouTube viewership, the way it's creeping up, salute to y'all. Continue to subscribe and then hit the bell for the notifications so that you get notified every time we drop a vid. Again, Let's Bubble Productions keeping us lit. Our brother Lex BUB cranking out video after video after video. And ruffling feathers too at the same time. It's kind of beautiful. But verse,
you didn't hear the double entendre. This thing got it, bro.
Hey, don't gas me. Don't gas me.
This thing right here got it, bro.
A nigga that'll battle his mama is dangerous. I'm trying to tell you. That's crazy.
That's real. That's real.
Did anything more interesting in our world outside of Verzuz? Because I feel like that's just a beautiful place to start. Celebration of the Bay, the uncles. And then some dope observations that this nigga made last night. That I really want to get to. But should we just start with what a win for the Bay?
Man.
Wonderful win for the Bay.
Man. I haven't really sat down to watch Verzuz since Verzuz has been taking place. So I really didn't even make a point because leading up to this, when I first got the notification that was what it was gonna be, I was like, all right, cool, But coming from out here, I already know what to expect basically, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me personally. But then I just happened to tune in, happy to turn it on or whatever, and then bro, just seeing the backdrop, seeing these dudes up there, man, see how much money was put into the budget for it. I started to feel how big of a look it actually was, for just the lingo out here, the conversation, the mouthpiece, the mentality,
yep,
the connections. I think all of that shit was on full display, and it was nothing. It's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. So for people that aren't really in tune with how to Bay get down, they got full blown masterclass last night.
Go ahead, Lex.
No, you go ahead.
Prior, if I'm being honest, I was hella worried about such an international moment for something that feels so niche. And I hope that doesn't sound derogatory or disrespectful. And to the point that you made last night in the thread, I'll let you speak to it. But that when you said that, G, it hit different because it's exactly how I was feeling. I just wasn't able to word it like that. But what I was trying to explain to people is that whenever I've traveled, they sort of split the Bay specifically into these two worlds, right? Mm-hmm. Where they go prestige and upper echelon music, the from the high roads to the hers, and then HBK is kind of in the middle where they get respect as MCs, but they don't get disregarded as hyphy or underground. It's strange. It's a strange thing. So I'm like, damn, I'm so protective of where we come from and how I feel about it. I wasn't necessarily ready to share it with the world like that and have to deal with all the weird little comments and because immediately when they announced it on the Verzuz page, the comments were who? Mm-hmm. Snooze fest, this, that. I was like, oh my God, the disrespect. Mm-hmm. And lesson for little old me. Them niggas are OGs and GOATs for a reason because they don't give a fuck at all. Bro, that was a master class in fuck with yourself first.
Wholeheartedly.
Oh my God, that was beautiful.
And hey, man, coming out of that Verzuz too, if E40's gift game ain't up there with Rick Ross, because bro, he hit the moves he was hitting last night.
Oh my gosh,
bro, he did this tippy toe move like he was floating on air. Hey, I was like, oh yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He in a whole nother bag, bro. Because for Bay niggas, I said it last night, but for Bay niggas, if you give us drink, eyes, and music, best believe it's over. You know what I mean? Like it's a wrap. It's gonna be a full blown party forever until you gotta turn the lights off in this motherfucker because they will. and even if you turn the lights off, bro, you better hope there ain't somebody with a phone that can still be blapping some type of music. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really just how the life forms are over here, bro. Yeah. So like that shit was, man.
Can you elaborate on the point you were making too, G?
We was talking for a minute. So.
Just you didn't call it pandering, but that's.
Oh, got it. Are you talking about like just like how like people would be tuning in now, like how they were commenting and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, I mean, if you just look at the comments, like it was overwhelming love and like admiration for what they were seeing.
Yeah.
But it's also almost as if like y'all was from out here and y'all actually are part of this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of that feels like it is pandering in a way. Mm-hmm. And also just wanting to ride a wave.
A wave, yep.
And that's something that's happened so often with this area. And they talked about it last night too, as far as like the wave riding and shit like that, like taking that shit and going elsewhere and fully blowing up in your area from taking the game and and how we get down out this way, and going elsewhere like P and like it just
you name it.
This goes on. But the comment section, man, that shit was like, bro, like it was cool. For me personally, being from out here, it was great to see how much people, quote unquote, loved the sound and the game that was being given. But it almost felt like when you try to get ahead of it and you're not even paying attention to what's going on the screen. You're just jumping into the comments to say what exactly the last person said. And then y'all just end up piling up from there. And that's a common thing, bro. Like I really feel like people they find it cool to fuck with the Bay the way that they do, but they don't do their due diligence to find out more about like history here, what we stand for, what is our backbone, the reason why we are where we are, who we are, why we think the way we think, and why we can go in anybody's neighborhood and be, not saying that we'll be just fine because everybody can get caught wherever, but saying that game will recognize game and the thoroughness anywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't got a code switch nowhere where else you go to.
Facts. People
tend to jump on your line about shit or just take little fragments of it and put it into what they already know where they're at. So these are things that shouldn't be overlooked or pandered, man. Like I really feel like there's so much here. But Mani could talk to it more about on like the music side, because Poe's talk about the gatekeeper stuff and the industry gatekeeping. When on my comment on that one was that yes, there's for sure been blackballing and stuff like that. I believe that's a thing. I believe they do put it as niche from time to time. But I also, and you can talk to it, you talk about it, I don't know if you want to, but if that a lot of times does come from the Bay as well, Bay established artists, if they also pile on to the gatekeeping and gate closing. If that's a part of it as well.
That's a better term, gate closing.
Yeah.
Right? Couple things you said there. The whole classifying it as niche and sort of dismissing it. I saw a tweet last night that Raj retweeted, and I hate that I don't know the gentleman's name who tweeted it, but it was maybe it was Delancey. I don't know. But I was hella grateful for the tweet. Maybe it wasn't. The Hella Black Pod, salute to those guys, by the way, too. Hell of my favorite podcast, going easily. But the point that was being made is that forever, the Bay, and not even the Bay, Oakland and Vallejo specifically.
Yeah.
Oakland and Vallejo.
Yeah, I said a Bay to open it up, but like it's never thought of as the Bay. Yeah.
But it's usually Oakland and Vallejo, for the most part, that are being compared to the likes of LA, New York, Atlanta. That's ridiculous when you think about it and how small those places are in comparison, right? Like it's pretty asinine. And then you want to throw Richmond in there as far as influence and directly Master P and what HBK have been to offer, like have had to offer. Like, it's insane. Like, that shouldn't even be in the same conversations. And so now go ahead and dismiss it as niche if you want to, but per capita, per impact, nigga, it's not even comparable when you talk about just population. So that's a whole nother conversation where it's a power move, for one, because ain't no way in hell somebody can sell 50,000 to 80,000 units out of their trunk directly and not have no white folks in their pocket and them not go, all right, we got to figure that shit out. Like, that's crazy. All right, here come Jive and swoop up everybody in the 90s. And it ain't by accident that shit just stopped. If we I know Lex, you said you want to bring back Conspiracy Corner. Oh, nigga, let's do it. And for me, because shout out DJ Slowpoke who was spinning for short last night and rocked that Grand National hoodie. Salute to you, brother. That was amazing. It meant the world. I thought something was wrong. I thought I did something. My phone was. It's like, oh shit. Because it's you, that's you, nigga. That panic set in. I said, "Oh my god, this can't be real."
Money started running through his last 24.
I did. I said, like,
checking everything.
Like, nigga, what did I do? But salute to Poke, man. That was amazing.
Where's the bat phone?
Whew, nigga. So Poke was just putting me on game. He's like, bro, everybody got a deal. When Hammer got his deal, when 40 got his situation, when Short got his situation, Tony got their situation, like a Digital Underground, like it's like Loonies, like 3 times crazy. Drew Down, I was like, whoa, Richie Rich, oh nigga, slow down, like, and Banks, everybody got a situation out of that movement, and so it was the Bay as a whole. I guess the only thing to compare it to would have been Atlanta at the time, because once JD start ringing off. Crisscross, Escape, TLC, Dallas Austin, like that nigga, LA Reid and them had to go open a fucking office there. And so similar here, High Road, everybody start getting a situation. So it's like, okay, what's happening? But we talked, that's 30 years ago, and Atlanta's still going.
It's a hub.
It's a hub where niggas pick up and go move to. Artists are now going, if you're an artist and you're in Portland, if you're in Seattle, you would think you would go to LA. No, I know niggas up there that's going, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. They're not wrong. Not wrong at all. But
now when you say that, what you can get a house for.
But when you start talking about industry, Twitter, Uber, Pandora, nigga, like, what's the The film company, the Disney
Pixar.
Stop telling me it ain't no industry here. There is an industry here. iHeart came in and bought this bitch up and closed the gate, to G's point, and closed the gate on niggas to really be able to eat. And they outsource all of the creative work to LA to undercut niggas because it's so fucking expensive to stay here. The budgets are here. Netflix is here, fam. And the budgets exist, and trying to partition and act like those worlds don't collide is so disingenuous to the game that was being kicked last night. And so when you talk about 30 years of sustainability, bro, you got to put some respect on there. And not just 30 years of sustainability, but 30 years of sustainability and holding the door open, to their detriment. Sometimes them niggas held the door open and brought niggas with them. And as a byproduct of it, we got to celebrate them last night. And I just wanted that to be discussed. Because there are a lot of niggas in the middle. There are a lot of niggas in the middle who would identify as middle class in Bay Area hip hop, when really in all actuality the middle class don't exist, niggas. So you really under the poverty line if you would stop being goofy and do the math. But you only under the poverty line because you won't put nobody on. It's a simple thing. And they talked about it. Their entire Verzuz last night was dedicated to trying to get the Bay to stop hating on one another.
That's it. They really it felt like they were drawing a line.
Yeah.
In the sand.
Yep.
And it was basically the Bay against everybody. Like it was that was the way that they were doing it. By also bigging up like all these different other areas that they felt love in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not saying that if you support your own that you can't therefore do business or work with outsourced areas. That's not what they're saying. Like, that's not the communication whatsoever. But it is that you got to love your own first and foremost. You got to love where you're from first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that is ultra important to the process for longevity, you know, for being able to separate what my sound is from what the next man's sound is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that all goes hand in hand. And that shit was on full display, man. So big ups to them for that shit, man.
Yeah, man. People still searching for formulas and answers and the cheat code to success, if you will. And you got to look at it last night. Got to watch it last night. And so few people are going to gloss over how those two gentlemen celebrated one another. When you start doing the math on it, to niggas love that clubhouse shit. Right, one of the only times I ever sat in there to go peep what was going on, and I ain't been back because it should disgust me. But the one time I sat in there and got to really hear what was going on, Rogers being ridiculed, Rex Life Rogers being ridiculed for making the point that we had to watch last night. Where did Short and 40 have to go to get some of their biggest records? Atlanta. And niggas had, Short got ran up out of it. We ran Short up out of it. Niggas, stop it. Cameo wouldn't play Short at one point. Come on, bruh. Stop that goofy shit. And then last night still went out of their way to show love to the place that they got the most love-hate relationship with. Vallejo was divided at one point.
Talk about it.
We got the wrong enemies, dog. Like, we're beefing with the wrong people. And it's so distracting, and it undermines the real war. Can't win no war without no money. Can't get no guns without no money. So we can't compete without either.
Which was my point last night. Now I'm not remembering what I was talking about. But when I said calculated starvation, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Man.
Is that not understanding who your actual enemy is, but you're starved, so you're fighting amongst your own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's literally the best way to take out an entire group without actually having to do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could do that from a distance. You ain't got to be in front of them. You ain't got to be around them. Let them take out themselves because you done starved. You done cut off their lifelines.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now what are they going to do when they got to fend for, go get your own little scraps that we're going to leave behind for you?
Yeah.
It's limited scraps, so what they out here doing? They got to take out their brother in order to make sure that they live to tomorrow.
Or you go, we don't care who fuck with us. We just going to do it our way. And it worked. 40 worked. We saw it last night. Short worked. God rest his soul. Mac Dre was working, doing what he wanted to do. And that was the lesson from last night. It's like, Bay niggas do what the fuck they want. And build and routinely build their own industry. And there's no stopping it. Because you go, all right, man. I guess I'll do it again. every time that there's a hurdle, 40 goes, guess I'll just reinvent myself again, man. Short goes, I need a hit. It's been a minute. All right, let's do it. It was so beautiful, bro. When you literally start doing the math, you going, nigga, this is 30 years of domination. Of just and when I say domination, I don't mean competing with the world. I mean doing you, and as a byproduct of doing you compete with the niggas who had to come steal from you. That don't impress nobody. I'm sorry. That was impressive, and I know I have the strangest feeling people are going to attempt to tell that story another way, but that's what I saw last night.
Completely, but that's part of the entirety of the story.
Yeah,
is that, and that's been the base thing this entire time. If we want to really just put a finger on the pulse of it, is that it's never about the actual narrative itself.
Yeah.
It's about doing the actual work it takes to stand out just by being yourself.
Yeah.
So you just got to continuously put in the work on yourself, and when you walk into a room, niggas say, oh, that's, even if you ain't even trying to show out in this motherfucker today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's a part of the whole thing, bro. Like, that's literally the Bay in a nutshell. Yeah. I'm gonna leave those alone, just because, like, I still just don't get, like, the whole. Yeah, never mind. Go for it.
No. How did you feel watching it last night, Lex? What was your perception? And I asked because granted, you're from Seattle. A lot of what am I trying to say?
Like,
you fuck with the Bay and its music more than even me. Like, how much you know. It always, you and Jizzle, like, from the Brother Lynch records, y'all could just run off. I'm like, bro, how do y'all even know this shit? Like, it's just impressive. So I'm curious as to what your lens, what your POV was watching last night.
I think for, like, people in Seattle love the Bay.
Yeah.
And
do you know what that relationship is?
I think it's just relationship of Bay Area artists. They when they fill up the trunk, they go up.
Yeah.
And Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, that whole drive up, they would sell records.
Yeah.
Tons of them. Like, I met Mac Dre when Thizzle Washington came out, and he was in front of a CD store called Budget Records in Renton.
Wow.
In a van with 2 other people. And
That's it.
Yeah, and he was just selling, like, he was selling some to the actual record store.
Uh-huh.
He sold them 50 at $10 a pop. Because I used to go to Budget Records and blow $200, $300 every Tuesday.
Yeah.
So he just happened to be in there, and he sold them 50 CDs at $10 a pop.
$10 wholesale. Wow.
And then I bought mine from him.
From him.
Just so it was like, it was a thing.
Yeah.
And it's a relationship where, like, Seattle loves the Bay.
Yeah.
So it was like, even me moving here and, like, throughout the years of being here, this is home for me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, the way me and Jizzle met and clicked up is because Jizzle loves E40.
Yeah.
So me and him used to just bounce Bay records off of each other and just talk about all sorts of different Bay Area artists.
Man.
Like, I remember when I first told him, like, hey, 3 Times Crazy is one of my favorite groups. And he looked at me, he was like, you don't know nothing about 3 Times. I was like, what?
What?
So we ended up going through the whole album, the Stacking Chips album, just, yeah, so.
Man.
And watching the Verzuz last night, it was special.
Yeah.
And being able to just see, it was like if you read the comments of so many people talking about, damn, I didn't know they was giving up like this, and da-da-da. And even Dwayne Wade was like, man, there's so much music I missed out on. And I'm just like, wow, people just really didn't know.
Really didn't know. And that's ultimately what made it so special is like for all of that. Like, I literally was a nervous wreck for 40 or for short. And them niggas got up there and didn't give a fuck who was going to tune in. They showed up, and it's the old saying, if you fuck with you, when they pull up, they don't have no choice but to fuck with you. It was so beautiful to see.
That's it.
40 was up there gigging. I said, oh, man, this is beautiful. I got so many texts like, "Hey, nigga, you know this look like E-Baby up there."
hey, no lie. When I saw him with the fit, I was like, "What? This is E-Baby."
Oh,
and then short remind me of Jeff so bad, like Lil Jeff.
Oh,
so
God.
like I was just looking at so much, like just man.
This is really where we come from. It was, man, to 40 short. Thank y'all, man. Like, I'm certain that they hear it all the time. But if anybody had anything was ever confused, if any had anything negative to say, last night put all that shit to bed, and niggas got to fully put some respect on the Bay. But because of those 2 gentlemen's legacy and what they've meant to the culture that dominates business now. I think that's how to put it in a proper perspective. The culture that dominates business and how much money it generates, those 2 men are directly responsible for a portion of that. When you start thinking about people who were able to take it further, Jay Prince sat down with Joe Rogan. Oh, it was an amazing discussion. Jay Prince is promoting his book right now, but he went and sat down with Joe Rogan.
Is this a new book?
Yes, it's not another one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. This is the same one. Respect.
It's the same book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sat down with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I still need to read that.
Sat down with 85 South, and then he went somewhere else too. That was like that just blew my mind that he was sitting down having the type of discussion that he was. But he talked about the Bay. But he also spoke about the conspiracy of the powers to shut down Black independence as it pertains to music. People don't know, and he speaks about it in his book, that Jay Prince, Suge Knight, and the Gotti brothers from Murder Inc. were slotted to start the first Black-owned distribution company. and that may not ring off to everyone as to why it's important. But distribution, as far as music is concerned, is where all the money is, where all the bread is. What these streaming companies serve as now, these DSPs, what Empire spun off and made a distribution. It became a distribution portal, a distribution label, and then built their own portal. CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore. The indie artists know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, Jay Prince were going to do that in the 90s. And he's like, yeah, you see how they got Suge up out of here and took all the music, all that Death Row music is owned by a fucking toy company now. Mm-hmm. The feds came down and put some bullshit, tied Murder Inc. up into some bullshit litigation that had nothing to do with them and wiped them out completely. And they were trying to get Jay Prince, and that nigga's just built different.
Not by coincidence.
Man.
All that shit is not by coincidence.
It's not by coincidence. And so when we look at 2020 in the landscape of music now.
Also, don't forget that the Black Panther movement out here.
Man.
Like that's another reason. That's another reason for the way that the America as a whole has a foot on the neck of Oakland.
Yeah.
Like they will not pay attention to Oakland. So like maybe the industry may have like moments where industry definitely pays attention to them, but there might be moments where it doesn't seem like, Oakland is like at the epicenter of this all. But best believe there's always attention on this area. You can't have an entire population of a certain location think on their own the way that we do out here.
Yeah.
Like that's not good for the overall establishment.
Independent thinking, bro, is just dangerous. You start to talk about forming, their own private sector of education. You start combing through the Constitution with a fine comb and figuring out what your actual rights are, what the actual laws are, and what liberty we are actually afforded. And that shit is dangerous, bro. And a lot of that is had through a lot of that is had through the lens of economic freedom and economic independence. And I'll never forget at the beginning of the pandemic, sitting down with the family and just having general discussion. And based on what I was reading, I was rereading Spook Who Sat by the Door fresh after reading The Water Dancer. I wouldn't recommend it, but I was on 1,000 G.
It was always
on one, right? And I go, man, if we really doing the math on it, Jim Crow was lit for niggas.
Yeah, see.
Oh shit! Why did I say that?
See.
In front of some elders who actually lived it, boy, and I never felt so bad for misusing information and having it land as dismissive or arrogance. There's a way to say that. There's a way to enter that discussion with retaining respect for the people who lived it, right? And we ultimately got to a healthy place, but I remember the initial like, what the fuck did you just say? And I was like, no, hear me out. Just in terms of us having to fuck with us and having our dollar circulate amongst us is what I meant.
There's also a way to update the way Jim Crow took place.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately during Jim Crow there's way too much control over what it is that we thought that we had control over.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, we was moving a certain type of way and like people had this independent thought, but think about it now and like where is all that gained from that moment? That shit could be wiped right off the fucking earth because of the fact that we didn't really have the actual control that we thought that We had the mental control, which we need to establish that shit now.
Yeah.
Like somehow, some way. Let's establish to get our mentals back somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And then put that shit down to now, where I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you want to move out of America, move out of America. But this is the time in America where there's such a heightened sense of there's such a heightened sense on like what racial boundaries are, what your sexual boundaries are, what all these different boundaries are. There's actually a fight that could be made for each individual as a person in order to make your life be somewhat better. So if you were to somehow rig the game by having a very strong mental during a time where people are
everybody's fragile,
so fragile, then this is the perfect time. So you have to just utilize it that way. You can't get caught up in like all the day-to-day randomness and like, you know, the day-to-day toying with the minds of the masses that will just immediately react to it, as we've seen with how the left reacts to a lot of things. And this is not that type of pod. We're not about to go.
No, we going there because Bernie put out that. Have you read that yet?
What's that?
When he calls Trump an authoritarian, but it's him being able to ascend to that level of power is a grade A indictment of the Democratic Party.
Oh, completely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're right. Let's not go there. But it's like how long we been saying that shit?
Yeah.
How long we been having that discussion? G?
Yeah. No, that shit was an indictment on all parties,
everybody.
Yeah. For him to be able to just sleep past everyone and really talk to the individuals that have been overlooked throughout this time, because like I've said, in the setup of the caste system, they gave the lower end of the dominant caste is race. Like, you guys are going to be above all the rest of them. So therefore, how did they start reacting? Trump talked to their souls. They've been sitting on the bottom end of the dominant caste with all this privilege, supposedly, that you're telling me that I have, but I have no economics to prove it. So all I have right now is my vote, and that nigga's talking to me specifically.
Facts.
He gonna get me up from where I am in these swamps. Them motherfuckers still in them swamps. They ain't left the swamps. But that was a one, haha, got y'all motherfuckers at least.
Just the
you know
one.
What I'm saying? Like,
just
that,
the one.
That was the one, I got y'all motherfuckers though.
Just
so,
give
like,
me one shoe, BDB. One shoe.
Fucking BDB.
I wanted to stay because you hit.
He was fucking with Pam so bad, bro.
You hitting on something, G, and I wanted to leave music, but I feel like we'll be able to get back to this point if we stay with music, though. Wayne sold his masters. Lex has something for that. I text y'all about that, and ultimately with our discussion, I was completely swayed from one side to the other in just the text thread with you and Poe. Like, it happened fast. I went, is this not the saddest shit you ever seen? And sent them the headline. And Poe goes, and G goes, well, if you think about it, and I'm like, okay. And the niggas just broke down these interesting points from, correct me if I'm wrong, G, from pure economist points of view and not from okay. That's what I was receiving. I was like, damn, when you break it down like that, shit makes all the sense in the world. I'll let him explain. But I wanted to start with you because you had a
my conspiracy corner.
Yeah. Okay.
About
welcome back.
And we back.
Because I've really been thinking about how there's people buying up all these masters, and the only thing they keep telling everybody is, you know, music ain't worth nothing. So what if somebody or different people buy up all the masters to all this music and then these laws pass, and it changes the worth of music.
Mm-hmm.
So people who sold their catalog for $100 million, new laws get passed for streamings and what a stream is worth, and now that $100 million catalog gets turned to a $400 or $500 million catalog, because it's very possible, because nobody knows what a stream is worth. And I'm just sitting here like, they always say, "Oh, this company bought up the masters." They don't give you no details on the company.
They did on. Well, they technically didn't with the company that bought all the death row shit. And then for whatever reason that day I just had time and I went and Googled that company. It's the niggas who make all the toys. I said, "Oh, this is just an investment. Like, this is
because they know the bounce back." Because they were sitting there, they brought toys to somebody's kids, and then they're sitting.
By the way, what we don't talk about enough is how cutthroat toys are.
facts,
Bro. Like, toy industries are cutthroat because they're talking to the initial consumers.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing a whole nother mind game.
A whole nother mind game.
So they're sicker than a lot of different businesses that you could
preying on kids mentally,
bro, because
sick game.
Because they know the kids are going to
wear the parents
down, bro. Like, they ain't got $1 to their name.
No.
So marketing to them that ain't got no money is sick with it, bro. That's a whole other level.
Marketing to broke people is crazy.
Bro.
Holy shit,
bro!
Is that how sinister we're talking right now?
Bro, that's a whole nother
man,
bro. That's a whole nother mental, bro.
Damn,
they sicker than you think, man. Like, yeah, we talk about they toys. Nah, them okay.
Man,
them motherfuckers they ain't got a soul in their body like a toy.
Oh man, so that's where I was with you. I was 100% on board with you on what you said. And then how G and Poe break it down. Go ahead, G. I'll let you reiterate.
I now what Lex is saying, I completely agree that there's a possibility that could happen.
You said that.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that that's going to happen.
You said that from Rip. You were like, he was like, that's clear. However, let's go from Wayne's perspective.
Yeah, from Wayne's perspective, though, is it.
No, the only thing I was going to say is, but I don't disagree with Wayne selling it.
Okay.
Not at all. Yeah,
so, but go on. I just want to make that clear. I was just...
Yeah. From Wayne's perspective, and maybe even from some of these other people's perspectives, though, it's just a matter of, like, how much is your percentage of what it is that you have ownership over, and when is the right time to give it up?
Facts.
And if it's at its highest point at the 100 mil for this particular situation, for what percentage? Because I don't know if they released the percentages.
They did not.
So whatever his percentage was, if that was the $100 million order, then you give that up because it's never going to be higher than that for that individual. So you can keep it long term if you want to. But how is that going to play out long term as far as like you receiving? Like, would you ever receive $100 million at any given point for that? Yeah, for your lifetime for that particular catalog. And also, as I thought about that more after our conversation, like later on, it came up. But was it specific to Young Money? Because hell yeah, I'm selling Bedrock for $100 million.
Is it all?
I don't know. It said his masters in Young Money. It said his masters in Young Money. But what I had what I hadn't considered for 1 second is if you go like you said, nigga, forget what his percentage of Nicki and Drake might be, and it let's say he's lucky and it's 10%. Probably not. Shit, his own ownership of his own shit may not even be 10%. So that's the point I hadn't considered. I went, oh yeah, you definitely sell then, right? It just fucked me up because I was reading the reports at the same. I was reading the Bob Dylan shit and the Wayne shit at the same time. Bob Dylan sold for $300 million. Bob Dylan's 90 years old or whatever he is. Ain't Bob Dylan almost 90?
I feel like Bob Dylan got a way higher percentage though, probably.
Exact. To your point. And so I'm reading those at the same time, and I'm going, damn, this is crazy. Is Bob Dylan's catalog worth that much more, or does Bob Dylan just own that much more?
And also a personality, not a personality, but like a machine like Wayne.
Yeah.
$100 million for what I've done to this point. If you think about what Wayne has done, like how much music is out there from Wayne, yes, okay, I'm probably not getting such and such for. I'm still thinking in the mindset of it being for Young Money. If I gave it that percentage for Young Money, okay, I am the mind that I have. I will continuously still be making music, so I will still be good going forward. This is just what I have a percentage of now.
Would you, if you're Wayne, honestly?
If you're good going forward for making music,
that's
because he can make music for the rest of his life and not leave his home and be a-okay.
And so
for him, I'm not saying that for other artists, but that person's a machine making music.
And all I was simply processing, and that's what I told y'all too. Is like I'm processing in real time. This is kind of like, if I'm being honest, it worries me because Nori and Pharrell were talking about. We'll get to that too, but he was talking. But Nori and Pharrell both said it out of their mouth, something that I've always speculated, and it was like, sometimes niggas have the music, but don't have the look. Sometimes they have the look, but don't have the music, and it's those rare times where niggas got both, and there's nothing that can stop it. I.e. 50 Cent, i.e. Drake, i.e. Lil Baby. Like, it's just those moments where it's like, ain't nothing nobody could do with this. And if you ask 50, he was blackballed up until a certain point.
Yeah.
So I'm going, God damn.
Until the aftermath shit.
And I'm thinking about Wayne, and I'm going, damn. No one, and people can debate this all they want to. We're talking about 11 years old. That shit ain't supposed to happen. Where you turn, when he turned 22 or whatever. When did Carter come? How old was he when Carter, fuck the Carter, when when first Gangsta Grills came out. When the squad tape started. When the prefix and the suffix and all that shit starts, and you go, oh, okay. Because I loved everything about the Verzuz last night because it was we started talking about who was outside for real.
Right.
And so the hyphy shit is happening, but parallel to that, Wayne's rapping on all those beats.
Yeah.
Wayne, there's a version of Be a Bia with Wayne blacking the fuck out. And you go, okay. And I'm looking at everybody at the school go, nah, Wayne about to be that nigga. If he was from the town, if he was from Richmond, if he was from Berkeley, every debate was going. Wayne was everybody's favorite rapper.
Far reaching. Shit, New York. Far reaching. Like
I think New York was late. I don't think New York was on the squad shit like we were, like the Bay.
No. They weren't on the squad shit, but I do know visiting New York and like just
when ABCD.
Just what?
ABC when you went to ABCD that year.
Yeah, and then just walking the streets, and then like the they'll just ask you like, and like, you know, just trying you whatever on the block on the streets, whatever. Just talk about like, oh, so who the fuck you fuck with as a rapper?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, Wayne, and it was like I would say get the fuck out of here because you only supposed to say Jay-Z out here, but I was like, nah, but it's like he's like, but I get it,
yeah,
you know what I mean, and like that's a, you know, like folks knew. From the mixtape more than I think the actual albums
for sure. For
like that shit, that the way that those mixtapes was coming out, that shit was in the street.
It was pure flood the street. Like, so I'm going Wayne, G Unit, Mac Dre, Dipset. Oh, I'm missing somebody. It's one other mixtape run that just and then Ross after Hustling, not Ross pre-Hustling. Ross after Hustling. What they were able to do with mixtapes is the business model. That for whatever reason, no one else has figured out how to use it. But it's like, yo, the tapes, if you got the bandwidth, if you got the time, nigga, we gonna flood. We ain't trip. We gonna tour. We gonna get that shit out send that out. We're going to hit this road, though, and we're going to set up the launching pad for the record. And it worked like a motherfucker. Over and over and over to the entire industry had to go, pay him whatever for a feature. Yeah, pay him whatever for a feature.
That bandwidth is not out there, though.
No. That
shit is impressive.
Future.
Like it's
Thug hard. Now, maybe.
Yeah.
But, so you do that. you make Universal. You're an intricate part of Universal becoming the powerhouse that it becomes. To the point to where
that is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. I'm just like, yo, you make this company the powerhouse that it is, and the nigga that you brought to them, they eventually go, hey, we gonna give him a blank check, and you still tied up in litigation to get your money. Meanwhile, Drake, and regardless if it's pennies on the dollar, Drake is set for ever. And Wayne is fighting for his bread. By all reports. That may not be true. Count niggas' pockets is weird. I'm just talking about what he means to music. So much so that Hove has to go, I'm not standing for this. I'll get in the middle of it. So much so that Ross goes, I'm not standing for this. Like, it can't be too far off if all the niggas who know for real go, no, we got to protect him. Because this is not fair. He means entirely too much to too many people making too much money right now to have to be fighting for pennies in regards to what his true value is. And so I read that number, and it's a high-ass number. Nigga, it's $100 million. What are you talking about? But I'm just going, blank check. Bob Dylan gets his 300. It just was one of those things where it's like, damn, this is, I don't know. But again, it's $100 million. So it's like, shut up. But still. Yeah. I mean, it's his, I'm sorry, G. It's his masters and the Young Money masters as far as, because I don't think Drake, I think the last Young Money album for Drake was
the one that Bedrock is on.
No.
Take Care?
Take Care is technically a Young Money album, as is
what? Nothing is the same.
Nothing is the same. Nothing, yeah. Right? Am I tripping?
I don't think that's Young Money though.
No, because it's Cash Money Young
Money. Yeah. No, those are still Cash Money Young Money records for sure.
Okay, but that's also talking into like the
percentages again.
Yeah, like how many hands are in Drake's pot?
Yeah, I'm not.
So the percentage that Wayne owns of whatever
still
of the Young Money portion of things, that's getting sold for $100.
Take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we got to get that off because I don't know how long I'm gonna have that asset at that price point.
Exactly, and the reason I was even cool with Wayne selling it because, just like all of us, I don't know how much of Wayne's own music he owns, just from dealing with Baby. And then it's like, I know he won the lawsuit for money he was owed for, like, the Carter 4, the Carter 5. But I just mean, overall, I really don't know. And I just feel like since the way that they did business with Wayne, I'm guessing it might be a pretty low percentage. So if he can get that off for the $100 million, and like you said, he keeps creating music, and now he owns a larger portion of his mastering, right? Yeah. And Young Money's finally just his. So the deal is just for all the shit that already been released and not for future releases, right?
I don't know if that'll be for like the Young Money portion of things, but for him as an individual, I think I think you take the bulk, you get the bulk, so that I just have that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't really just pass up on the fact that I have this bulk amount that I can take for something that is not is not fully mine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if you got if Young Money was independent, no fucking way you give that away for $100 million. Yeah. But it's not. It's a part of a larger conglomerate that is cut fucking throat.
Get the fuck out,
bro. Get it, and just break ties. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I think that's really what it is. That you just want to break ties with the establishment, bro. Like they're just tired of fighting with the same group.
To that point, G, if we only receive information but don't seek it, then we'll always be misinformed.
Man, real life. Like, this is gonna be my ongoing beef with school, but just think about like how school has been set up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like the information that has been given to you, history wise, that is a complete fucking lie. And they will really have you out here in these streets believing that shit was true, and going to bat and fighting about that shit amongst your own people. So think about Okay, that's the establishment portion of things. Now think about the streets, and think about the streets that just get information passed down to them from old heads, or if you don't even get it from old heads, you just get it from peer groups, and the shit that you do off of false information, off of somebody just having complete control over you, and getting that trust from you early. To the point that your loyalty is binded by something that is a complete fucking lie, because you haven't done your due diligence to find out the truth. It's dangerous, man. It's completely dangerous, man, and it's something that as I'm unraveling a good amount of just our history. And how much shit has been covered up over the years, how much things have been ours that was completely taken from us, and then plastered another name on it, and put statues up about the motherfuckers all over the U.S. Like, it's nuts. So the love that we're supposed to have for a location that has done this much damage to a group of people. With us. You know what I mean? Like, but like I said earlier, that's all coming down to just being misinformed. I think as we inform ourselves better of a lot of this shit that's taking place, the love that we have for ourselves and also for the next man that looks like us will increase, and also the efficiency and the work that the output will increase as well.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, because I really believe that as a whole, it's getting harder and harder for me to have an ill to have a ill will towards someone that has not taken the time to do their own work. And I don't know that coming into, I usually know that in speech and in communication, but it gives me a different perspective on who I'm dealing with, and when to be cutthroat and when to be more empathetic. And towing the line on and having the control over which one you are at any given time. That's the next part of the journey, I think, on like just overall as a people, what we have to look forward to.
Damn. I keep saying it. Working on in terms of working on empathy for people who present themselves as enemies. Not an actual enemy, though, but present themselves as enemies. And in my brain, there's not a reasonable man or woman, black, that can have access to the information. I've been fortunate enough to have access to some great mentors, man. Over the past, I'll just go over a lifetime for sure, but at the very least, this last like 12 years. Gentlemen and women that I met in college, post college, and the last few years in terms of just this pursuit of entrepreneurship. And there's not there for me, there's no way people can have access to this information and not have a complete overhaul of your perspective, your outlook, and most importantly, how you go about engaging with fellow man or woman. I'm telling you, fam, like that whole bullshit concept of leaning on ego and needing to be right for the sake of just massaging some shit that is just false. Bruh, I never felt more liberated than that shit being killed off. And just constantly being like, damn, like, just an open book, right? And so now being at that place of like, where do we go from here? And now there's a whole new fight because there's this patience that you are now responsible for holding because everybody hasn't had access to that information. Like we're 100% responsible. When we do the show, we didn't check in about time until this morning. You were the first one to text early this morning. I was like, damn, not only do I feel responsible to you two, but I feel responsible for the listeners that we do have, again, to keep carving out this space to share the information that I feel is essential to our advancement. And two, open to being wrong about that. But how could it be when I know the work that you're doing? I know the work that Lex is doing. And I know the work that the people that y'all talk to and are amongst are doing in terms of liberating us first. Man, I sat in 3 meetings this week for video treatments, for development of a show, and for a collaboration project, and had to say to people on the other end of those calls how clear my intentions are to not add to producing trauma and that be all black people see. Like it ain't no art to that, fam. Like I'm sorry. I genuinely feel that way because there's so many more beautiful stories to tell in the landscape of that, and we think about it all day long. So even if there is some gore and some dark side, like you got a responsibility to explain that further. I believe that, and if you can't, my nigga, go find a new fucking art form or go find a new way to express. But that can't be it, because I know too many niggas out here getting it for real. I love one of my favorite bars I heard. The kid was like, "Every nigga I know take care of his kids." I won't forget that, because that ain't been the narrative that's been told. To your point of just misinformation. Had niggas scared of fatherhood for real. If I'm being honest. Had niggas scared of union. And that ain't nothing to be fearful of. Something to look forward to, but that ain't nothing to be fearful of. And so now you're going, well, goddamn, what else was wrong? What else was they capping about? And you come to find out a whole hell of a lot that was intentional. And it's hard not to think of it as such. So that's why in these meetings I'm going so hard and having to be willing to walk away from projects that financially nigga might need, but you're like, yeah, it's not worth it. It's so not. I'll shoot it out of pocket. I'll make it out of pocket. I'll shoot it out of pocket. I'll make it out of pocket and almost have it be. And almost run the risk of having it be a lesser production, quote unquote, to maintain the integrity, if that makes sense. Like, oh, if we can't get the red camera and the cranes and the permits, nigga, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. Not selling my people and how I want to capture them and tell their stories, because what are my kids gonna say if they got to watch? There's no, God rest his soul, John Singleton, Boys in the Hood, beautiful movie, but I don't want to make that film. I have no desire to make that film. Make a love story though, about a black couple that knew they should have been together, that went through hella shit and did the work individually. And had different discussions in and around the business of marriage and union, the business of raising kids, the commitment, the responsibility. Like, can we have that conversation that the white folks get to? It's 40 rom-coms a year that get greenlit and get massive budgets to get told, and don't nobody white get killed in them. And our parents had to send us to schools where these white folks was printing books where they was lying to niggas, bro. Somebody was paying for them textbooks, man. That's that's some gangster shit,
bro.
Hey, we just go. Hey, can you make up a story real quick? I got a bag for you. Like, bro, that's the call. Like, now that I see how corporate get down, I know that's how them calls went. Hey, fam, you are a great storyteller. Can you make up a story about some slaves real quick so I can put it in a chapter of this history book and send it across the world?
We gonna rent out a studio, dress some people up. We gonna take a picture, then we gonna Photoshop it to make it look like it was an old picture, and then print it out in the book.
Hey,
bro,
they're sick.
Hey, if they could do it for the moon landing, they for sure could do it for a slave field.
Hey, wait, so you know in the history books how they have the illustration reenactments? Mm-hmm. Does it ever say illustrated by in the notes in the table of contents? It has to, right?
Got to.
Okay, I'm done.
It might say that in the picture.
I'm done.
It might say, he might have been like, "No, I need my credit right there. I need them to remember me."
Hey, copyright, nigga. This
fam,
is
then watermarked the slave reenactment picture in the history.
They just
book.
stamped it in there, bro.
Hey, that's crazy.
This is the second. This is the 13th edition by now.
This, you know what?
We added all kind of shit in here by now. So.
I'm done. I'm done with this shit. I'm so done. A lot of shit in music. 21 is who we thought he was.
Man.
Pharrell is who we thought he was. Eminem, Jesus Christ. And poor Sway Lee. So, start from the top. 21?
Start from the top. 21. Yeah, man. 21. I'm not on Clubhouse. I don't know, but the
it went how it's being told.
Okay.
However,
if people know this story already, then strictly, I'm just going off of when I first heard 21, and I've always been an advocate for 21's music
from the jump, actually.
From the jump. But from the very first song that I've heard to this point now, there wasn't a part of this that I felt as if it was like I felt like it was very authentic. But if you listen to the music itself, if you were to go past the whole like the gunshots and the killing and the threats and or whatever else you want to put in there that'll be essential for the type of music that was being made. And was getting money put behind it, of course. You also get a good roundup of well thought out thoughts. Like I always feel like if you take somebody that is quote unquote whatever it is that they're presenting that people want you to see their presentation wise. So if you take somebody from the street, I always think that street knowledge wise, they could become anything possible, whether it's the most threatening thing being physically imposing on someone's life to threatening being in boardrooms going toe-to-toe with people that are like-minded but of a different race. Say like a Jay-Z. I don't see that being really that much different on a spectrum, but narrative-wise, it's always presented a certain way. So more times than not, the presentation that's presented to the rest of the world is that we're going to pigeonhole these people into the threatening force that is physically imposing on your life. And we're going to keep them there so that, yes, they can make really great music for something that's going to create a lot of money-wise. So people in the hills and the children of well-off parents are going to be able to take this to their schools and act hard, act tough around their people, but never actually be in any of those situations to actually know what the hell is being said in these songs or what the meaning behind it is. That's going to always get played and always get ran up. But we're not going to highlight how that individual can also end up being in a boardroom and having like-minded mentalities as every other person that is in here that is cutthroat as well, but isn't marketed as such. They're usually behind the scenes. There's not many articles that tell you about the cats behind the scenes at these labels. They not give you inside knowledge on what they did to get to their point and what they do to stay there. What they do to make some of these other deals and how they cut people out of them and all the shit that we're doing. Like, they don't tell you any of those stories, but those individuals are like-minded regardless. That's how I see 21. That's how I always saw 21 from the very beginning. Yes, Savage. Always. So the same person that did that before from the beginning, that made a lot, that did the last album, that then was talking on Clubhouse, that was mediating between two individuals, two goofies, and it was the level-minded person in this conversation. That's something that was seen from the very beginning.
Well, I'm rolling on 21. I just so happen to hear the exchange, and a much larger point that that we may or may not discuss later is how revealing Clubhouse has been of how goofy all these niggas are. Like, just starting there. Like, some of them niggas was sitting on there 3 and 4 hours. Like, that's how goofy the shit is. Did Chance fall off? I'm just like, bro, this is nuts. But ultimately, good thing to know where people stand. So there's that.
How do you like the Clubhouse setup?
I hate it with the passion.
You don't like listen to glorified voicemails?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I love the platform. The more economic based rooms, the more venture capitalist rooms. Shout out to the Horowitz, both Felicia and Ben. They have an epic room with MC Hammer where they talk strategy. They like all the information you need, shit to enhance your podcast, your viewership, your like grow your audience. Like, it's some people on there giving up game. What the music industry is using it for, both like that room in particular and the bays and the area rooms, them bunch of goofies in them rooms, bro.
Yeah, to get their lack of information off.
Say that again?
Get their lack of information off.
Wow.
Because what I interpret it as is that if you have a room where people are listening and you have a chance to talk, usually the person that talks the most is the motherfucker that has done zero research on anything that he's saying.
Yeah. And that's so ultimately the screaming match that Meek and Ak had was revealing of both of them, but we know who Ak is. So disappointed in Meek. And I feel like 21 won't say. Say it again.
He was chasing?
No, he was doing. I don't even know how to put it in proper perspective, bruh. But it's just
performance.
Not even performance. No. This was real. This was real. Like, he was upset.
Why does he not win on any platform besides making music? Sometimes
somebody gonna have to start having a real conversation about that.
Because when they shield him, he does an amazing job. But if they just let him have his phone, oh shit. Like, you just like somebody wasn't watching him while he had his phone. Oh fuck!
But
what the nigga does is he takes the phone and then he slides off to the bathroom.
Oh shit!
And then gets it in.
In fairness, though, he is the prototype for the generation that
he's a voice for the culture.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
So we had two voices for the culture.
We had the voices
two
for
different styles that come into the same culture.
And they don't even get the luxury of being partitioned no more. Them the same niggas, bro.
Damn.
And that's why that argument was so revealing. It was like, oh, y'all really the same niggas for real. That's what I got. And I never been more disappointed in my life, bro. Like, this is crazy. And then here 21 come, and you could hear the disgust in his voice, like, and also not just the disgust, you could hear the trolling in the voice too. He's like, oh, you niggas is both goofy. I'm about to fuck with both. Like, that's what I heard.
Big goofy.
That's what I heard personally. I was like, oh, 21 really is that nigga, bro. Cause he the nigga, oh, you ain't gonna hit that nigga though.
Gotta instigate this goofy ass.
But is anybody in my niggas who was conflict mediators can relate, nigga, where they had the whole week for conflict mediation at the school.
That boy said conflict mediation.
Bruh,
I remember that shit.
21 was a conflict mediator. I'm certain of it. I know he got the little badge, and he had to do the example in front of the room, and he was oftentimes the mediator. And it was just too easy for him.
Too natural.
He's like, so what I hear him saying, Meek, is, and then Ack.
Oh, he's making sure that each side knew exactly what.
Ack, how do you feel about that? He's making some points. Ack, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
come on, bro. He was fucking with them
That's a
niggas,
good
bro.
time.
I was like, oh, this nigga 21 is really that nigga for real. That's all I left with.
That's a good time.
Yeah, man.
I wonder if Jay would be glad to trade Meek for 21.
I think hindsight, yeah. But I also think he has a real affinity for Meek too, which is strange, but none of my business.
I mean, that's more like being a shark, but there's a real like economic play there.
Is it?
What? Social injustice is a whole department. And that's like the poster's child for it.
Is it? Okay, now I'm not about to do that. I'm not doing that on this show. You got it. You're right. Yep, it is. I'm not doing it.
Bro, somebody got to be the face. It just unfortunately had to be me.
It had to be me.
Come on, man. My man just wanted to ride his dirt bike.
See? Sway Lee! Oh, man. I hate it. I hate it here.
You remember when the whole crowd did the intro outside the courthouse?
Yeah.
They got him out with that.
They did, though.
He was out by the time they got to the turn-up part of that.
Stop doing this to me, bro.
Yo, but wait a minute.
Meek was already coming out. He was already walking out. That's how long he's spending there.
So Pharrell sat down with Nori and Drink Champs.
What's Pharrell talking about, man?
Did y'all watch that? All 3 hours of it?
Didn't get a chance.
Wait, they got Pharrell to sit down for 3 hours?
3 hours.
What are you talking about?
And they got him cooked too. It was pretty impressive.
That's what's up.
But it's so funny when people go on there and get faded, and they are exactly who you thought they were. That was impressive.
Now I have to watch it.
Pharrell just started.
Was this grill Pharrell?
Was it grill Pharrell?
This was like grilling Pharrell.
Yeah, he was slug. He gonna always stay slug now. I think now he's in that space now where he probably wears
he doesn't
that
have to do the.
He wears them shits into his meetings for real.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be happy.
Humble, godly.
Happy is such a big fucking song. Damn.
Humble, godly, rich nigga talk. It's different. It's different. At one point, this nigga Pharrell goes, yeah, we don't talk about Richard Mille enough. Nigga, why would we? Why would anybody talk about Richard Mille ever? He's like, yeah, he just really cares about the people, black and brown people. I'm like, bruh, stop, nigga. Y'all selling $1 million watches, bro. There is nothing to talk about.
For sure.
Oh, but it just, you're not offended by it the way you would be if somebody else said it though. Because he's just like, you know who we don't talk about enough? I'm like, for real, bro. Don't. And then he said it, and I'm like, this nigga's crazy. But
like people in your camp don't talk about it enough?
I'm so confused. But what was so beautiful, and in regards to the exchange was, and rightfully so, because anybody that's been listening to Dream Champs from the beginning, Nori has always spoken of the Neptunes in the highest regard. Like, yo, them niggas saved my career and put me on a whole different trajectory. And he's like, it's kind of dope that I can take credit for putting the world on the Neptune sound, which he's right. It absolutely starts with Nori. But Pharrell shut that nigga down and was like, no, you got to stop saying we did anything for you. It's what you did for us. It's like literally every rapper had passed on a Neptune's beat up until that point. And you start going, whoa. And then Nori tells this story. He goes, yeah, Big Ticket told me to stop fucking with y'all because y'all shit all sounded the same. It's like, whoa. And
you gotta love Nori.
Gotta love Nori. What I'm listening to that, y'all, and I'm going, holy fuck. Like, changing something forever, impacting something that way, like how thin that line is, right? Because Pharrell talks about people not liking grinding. All the songs they originally gave Justin Timberlake were originally for Michael Jackson. Prince fronting was for Prince. He didn't want it. The label, Shake It Fast. He sent that to Jive for them to get the Temptations. The Temptations said no. Jive kept his reference vocals on there. Like it's all of these chance moments of just a group of niggas who really, really just loved hip hop. Like everybody's gonna break down. They're gonna break down the genius of Nip. They're gonna break down the genius of Hove. They're gonna break down the genius of the Neptunes. They're gonna break down the genius of all these artists that have come and have literally just shown up for the love of what it is that they do. And the whole time I'm like, I listen to all 3 hours of that going, this is impressive. He just loved this shit more than everybody. Him and Chad just love it more. Nobody wanted to give NERD NERD was only formed because nobody would give the Neptunes a chance as artists. And so I'm especially now with the pandemic and like seeing some of my friends who are by all accounts bigger names and artists than me not being able to earn and what it's doing to their mental. And if it were all about the money, it'd be a different conversation, but it's all about not being able to be get that feeling, like the instant gratification of like posting something is only going to last so much more longer the more that this world is shut down. People are going to need to feel validated for this shit. And I'm watching it. I'm watching what it's doing to niggas' mental and their happiness and shit. And it makes me so sad because I was under the assumption that we were all here just because we love this shit.
You're also going to lose the public to shit on. Man. Because the more you present to them a well-off life, yeah, the less they're going to like you. Yeah. You see it with like the Cardis of the world. Like Cardi was the people's champ. Until the pandemic hits and it's like, shit. Cardi, you can't be like, you got to chill out on all this stunning on this because, that shit ain't hitting for us. You know what I'm saying? So that's like it's an interesting relationship that I think larger artists or just artists that are used to a certain framing of the game, yeah, going forward, how the presentation has to change a little bit. Yeah. If it has to change at all. But I think the longer we're closed down, the more I think like artsy shit will shine through no matter what. but especially in a time where inspiration is probably the highest, is at its highest, as far as like stock wise. Like I think inspiration might be number one on the list now. Because who the fuck? What else are you doing to the public?
To that point, I'm listening to him talk about these different rare ass moments. G of just letting the inspiration carry everything, and you know the true isolation that could cause. Whether it's you being led spiritually, and not being afraid to be vocal about that either too. Like that could make you an outcast. Really caring about something is isolating in that regard, because how few people actually care about something and are open about caring about something. And it's just a relentless pursuit of executing said thing that you care about, but also being mindful that it's, there's divine power and like all these different things that are taking place. And this is a nigga that everyone loves. And Hove's rap radar point is like, yo, they're going to constantly just throw out the process of you getting all the no's and not getting a chance and all this shit, and just go, oh, it was overnight. And it's like, nah, fam, it don't, like, nothing works like that. Mm-hmm. Nothing works like that. And so it was again, salute Nori, DJ FN, the whole Drink Champ staff for an epic episode. I'm back into that because a big reason why the show happens and is just being a fan early. But it was like even before the Drink Champs, before Joe Budden, it was like, yo, all I would do was talk about pods. It's like, nigga, you should do one. It's like I want to do one about the process. But what does that mean, and why is it so beautiful? Why is it to be cherished, and why is there so much to learn from it? Then I start thinking about our process and mine specifically, and then just being inspired, and how much beauty is at my fingertips, nigga, before I even have to travel the world. I gotta read a book, I gotta watch a film, nigga. I can hit my mans and be inspired. Let me and Lex be like, nigga, I got an idea. And Lex will do an elevator pitch for a movie on the phone on a random Wednesday. I'm just like, bro, what is happening right now? Like, that's how lit my phone be. And I don't know, I'm just fucking proud of it. And watching Pharrell talk about what was at his, being friends with Magoo and Pusha and Chat, and that whole crew. That whole Virginia crew, Missy, Tim, like, nigga, them, D'Angelo, like, all them niggas is from the same place at the same time. You like, yo, that's scary. And I'm talking to Push the other day. He's like, our homeboy Daniel just scored a film, and they're promoting it, the Norman film. And I commented, like, bro, this is the most amazing shit ever. And bro's like, you really think so? Like, nigga, you scoring a film. Like, this is so tight. And Push is like, yo, is it crazy that all of us went to Pano? And I'm like, damn, I hadn't even thought about it like that. Like the amount of niggas that have done some shit from there. It's just, or been attached to some shit. It's just beautiful. An incentive to keep working and keep turning over new rocks, man, and not quitting on yourself. Ultimately.
What did you say about the Adidon thing?
Oh man. Okay.
Do they have stock in Adidas?
Who?
Did Adidas give them stock?
Who?
Like Pharrell and
he didn't talk about the business of it.
Oh, okay.
He didn't talk about the business of it.
But I wonder if that talked to like the emotional part of things too.
And I feel like the stock conversation is different when you can retain ownership of the sub name that's created. So Ye owning Yeezy and being in partnership with Adidas is a really interesting conversation that I would like to know more about the business of what Pharrell has turned human race into outside of just the sneakers. Like he's got the production company, and then also got the skincare product and all that shit. Like that's all under the same umbrella of human race. So I'm curious as to, you know, what stock Adidas may have in those names, right? As opposed to the reverse. That's a great question. But what? Because Pharrell is technically in the middle. He has a relationship with Ye. Feels weird based on what his answers were. Feel like his relationships are more so how much it fractured with Wayne hurt him a lot. Push is obviously his man's, and he has an affinity and a respect for Drake. And so, to Pharrell's point, he's just like, yo, it hurt. I wish that shit didn't happen, but it also isn't. It's not something I can get in the middle of and try to diffuse and have niggas be on some holier than thou piece up shit because it don't. He's like, it don't work like that. Like, and I was surprised and impressed that he recognized that and admitted that. And then ultimately was just kind of left there. He's like, niggas both said shit that they probably shouldn't have said, but who are we to now go, oh, rap has rules now? That's also weird too. I don't know. I was just like,
do you think rap has rules?
Me? No. But I also remember
you think that's like that would be like a older take on what rap is?
No, that's a younger take. That rap has rules. The old niggas didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. So like I'm talking about the take on like rap not having rules. So like, do you think that rap has rules now because of how much partnerships are in play, how much money is in play, it being the number one genre, stuff like that?
Maybe that is the evolution of the rules per se.
Because like I would think that people that would be quote unquote lower on the totem pole would have an advantage in those particular situations on like the saying I don't have rules when there's not as much money that you're playing with.
Very true. Very true. So in the case of Pusha and Drake, you're suggesting that Pusha probably had the upper hand because there wasn't as much money to be lost.
Completely.
I'm with that. I could see that.
That is the fact with any war, though, right? Like, when you think about when you're going to war with somebody,
you consider what they have to lose.
What they have to lose, too.
Completely.
And what you have to gain from going to war with them.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that when it came to the Drake and Push, because I always wondered what made Drake decide to go ahead
and respond,
because he had a lot more to lose than Push ever did.
But I love the point that you guys are making, but the sort of magical part of rap is that it's always going to be rooted in competitiveness and ego. Mm-hmm. So your team can be like, nigga, you got too much to lose. That rap part of you is like, but I can out-rap this nigga. You got me fucked up. And that was, and when you hear it, that's ultimately why I was like, salute to Drake on this one. Because he was doing the math. At least to me, I felt like as if he was doing the math on how the Meek shit played out, and niggas getting at Meek for not responding, and Drake going, well, nigga, I can rap. End of the day, I can rap. And Pusha knows I can rap, so I'm a rap. And that may be the only thing that's safe, because regardless of how the world feels, I think that shit helped Drake more than it did hurt him. So I don't have Drake losing that shit.
It helped Drake not have to be perfect anymore. I feel like before the battle, I felt like he had a pressure to be perfect the whole time. Like everybody was looking at him from the inside out and you know, like it seemed like he wasn't making any mistakes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that type of pressure is nerve-wracking But then once Push kind of changed the whole view of how people even looked at Drake, you know, just with the kid and everything, it helped for him to be like, I can finally just breathe and people see me as a person instead of this Drake entity.
How nice of a feeling. How nice of a feeling to finally just live within your truth. Because who the fuck can say shit about your truth? But they like, nigga, it's me. Nigga. Like,
which is also a really weird thing. It's like, I have a kid, so? Nigga, what? Like,
I don't think the kid was so big of a deal. I think it was who the kid was with. Because like
see, now we're talking.
Yeah, because the kid, the fact that he hadn't got caught up to that point, and that was the amount of bodies I'm pretty sure he has on himself, like given that was the one.
But no one said that.
He didn't want that to come out.
No one said it like that, and that's how it should have been said from Rip. It's like, nah, it's not about the kid, man. Yeah. It's about who
he's knocking down.
Yeah, yeah. And then industry wise, I'm pretty sure they know a lot more than I do. Yeah. But you know, if a few other people know about that one too, then
oh yeah,
and that's who you got caught up with. Nigga, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the part that you gotta run back and forth in your mind when dealing with these type of situations.
But that's what was so interesting about
playing with the same people, so that should be that's on them. But
what's so funny is that the two niggas that were actually rhyming came out unscathed. It's both of their right hands that caught the strays that hurt them. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. What was exposed about Ye in this shit hurt fam. What was exposed about 40 in this shit hurt fam. The two other niggas, they're fine. They're completely fine. And so that was what was always weird for me. It's like, who won the battle? I was like, they both won. The two niggas that lost is the producers, bro. Like, that's how I felt, at least. It's just like, damn, 40, that hurts to know about you. Because I can completely see that scenario going that way. Like, that makes sense. And then you go, yay, oh, man, this is an indictment of you, but also a really clear indictment of like, oh, I could see this going this way.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Rappers and indictments. Eminem. He had a hell of a week. Released another record. Had to apologize.
For?
Siding with Chris Brown.
I thought it's for releasing another record.
He apologized? So what? Oh. For releasing that B-side?
Yeah, but he has a bar in there. He's like, ultimately, he was like siding with Chris and the whole Rihanna shit. And it's like, see, that's, again.
That's Eminem shtick.
I was about to say, does he really side or is he just saying whatever?
He's just saying it, but he's only just saying it because he don't have nothing to rap about. And him not having nothing to rap about and still putting out projects isn't M's fault. It's everybody else's fault that's over there. And no one wants to admit it. That place, Shady, is a mess right now. You fumble Griselda.
Oh, yeah.
You still beefing with MGK. That in itself is ridiculous. And these records don't seem to be getting better. Meanwhile, Royce has turned into the greatest rapper ever.
I was about to say, Royce ain't came over there and just... What?
There's nothing Royce can do.
There's nothing Royce can do.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing anyone could do. I mean, you know me, I fuck with M super heavy.
I fuck with him.
Yeah. But it's not gonna happen. It's impossible to do. The only thing M could possibly do is try to figure out different pockets and just keep messing with the technical parts of rapping. That's the only thing there's no way for M to have any storyline besides the one that he's had to this point because of his ascension when he first took off.
Stop.
Bro, what else is M supposed to talk about, bro? Like this isn't caping. Like this is literally. I think that it's hard. It's impossible for somebody to have the ascension that you had and have shit to talk about now.
Then stop rapping, please.
Not if you, bro. You don't stop rapping if that's your profession
and
that
if
you
you're
make
still
money.
making millions,
Yeah.
you still selling a
Fam,
million.
if you have nothing to say, like he clearly, like it's jumping off the speakers. He just don't have nothing to say. Like it's all technical skill. It's all I got to show off how nice I've gotten, and it's like, who cares?
True.
No one goes to the Harlem Globetrotter games. I don't give a fuck. Like that's literally what it is.
That's
They
how you
do.
feel.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say they do. 'cause
Okay.
And
he's still saying-
the people that's buying those records
Are
is
the ones
people that
that
went to the damn Hollywood.
Okay,
Bro,
so
like that's.
so when you
They're doing the beat
when
and
you go to the
everything.
There's people that go to the Pro Bowl. There's people that go to just. I mean, there's people that buy their
Said the
ticket
Pro Bowl.
3 years in advance for Pro Bowls, bro. Like there's people that go.
These
to
are the
these
people
things.
that are buying the Eminem records.
My nigga, like,
give it up already.
I don't think y'all know, bro. How
until
people,
you
how
have
people's
something
in the world.
until you have something to say, bro. You mean too much to the you mean too much to the legacy of music as a whole to keep putting out these empty ass records that's just technical. I can rap hella good. Don't care. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, but true.
Not when you know what? I take that back. If Royce wasn't his best friend, it probably wouldn't be as egregious. The last three, what is it? Book of Ryan, both Prime Records, and then what's the other one that came out this year? Oh fuck! Royce had another one this year, and then Royce is killing it.
Yes,
and
it's
is
up for a Grammy
and is untouchable. So your mans can't be doing that. You can't have you can't have 3/4 of Griselda under the roof, and then be doing this.
Right.
At the very least, sit back. Okay, I'm just asking. Are you listening to what your niggas are doing? Or are you not listening at all? Because it sounds like he ain't listening to one West Side album.
It's not that.
It sounds like he ain't listening to one Conway. It sounds like he ain't listening to none of Royce's records either.
It's not that he's not listening, bro. M listens to everything.
Ain't no way.
All right, I'm trying to tell you. It's not that he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't listen to it. It's that there's nothing that he's listening to because he listens to so much of the art form from people that actually will have stories that he cannot relate to. So like, it's not like he's like. It would be unauthentic for him to like go into the situation and listen to other people's stories and then play off of other people's stories.
I'm not saying play off the stories. I'm saying play off of how what you're compensating for in technique, they're compensating for in concept, style, beat selection, overall packaging. And all you is just technique. I like personally keep that shit. That's just me.
I just feel like there's many artists who they start off great, but then if they keep doing the same thing over again, it's not that they got weak. They just haven't.
I hope it don't sound like I'm saying Eminem is weak.
No.
I'm
not saying that, but I'm just saying like he hasn't evolved as far as anything else. Like, he's great at technique, but as far as his content, he's still giving us what he gave us in 2000.
No, he's not even giving us that because he can't, to L's point. And that I get. But there is indeed a space where you take all of that attention to technique detail you giving us and go fill in go fill up the stat sheet.
It would be pandering.
You know what? This is James Harden. That's what that is. Leading scorer, almost 36 a game, and I know good and well what's going to happen when the playoffs come.
Want to know what's interesting about this? You just call Eminem James Harden, and I don't see no difference between L calling Kevin Hart Machine Gun Kelly.
No, there's a big difference. Y'all got me twisted.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's gonna play in perfectly. It's Gordon Hayward.
Oh, Jesus
Like,
Christ. This nigga's crazy.
It's
I'm not fucking with L.
Nah,
bro.
you got to think about it. You got to put it in his right perspective because
L really be trolling us, Lex. And we be going for it.
You got to put it in his right perspective because it's literally that I haven't performed up to the standards of what my contract is for a certain period of time, but I have 1 year left on my contract and it's at 30 something mil. I opt out of that when everybody would think that I would take that, and I go on the free market and I re-up for another 100. Who else do you think gets to do that besides what your skin color is, bro? Like, it's literally that you're always gonna be good no matter what. So M could put out.
Oh, so we saying the same.
Exactly. I'm not fighting with you on this one at all.
All right.
I'm saying just mentality wise, it's on us to like not expect something from M that he's not going to give you because he's not going to have the storyline for it. M be in the house. He makes sure that Haley's good. He makes sure that his that's good or whatever. He listens to all of the rap music. He appreciates every last part of it to the point of his own like messes with his confidence sometimes, just hearing like all this shit that they can put into a rap song. And then he goes out and does his version of what he can do, and it's technically sound as fuck. It just isn't going to hit because it has no substance to it.
There's no soul.
But there's no but also where is M going to get his soul from? M has been a superstar.
Bruh,
M has been a white superstar for the longest.
Go sit in one of them Royce sessions.
I was gonna say
that's not where you get inspiration from.
Well,
where do you get inspiration from?
I'm about to tell you guys. There's a Pixar movie called Soul coming out on Christmas. You just sit down. You better take that in. Jot some notes.
I'm saying, Mani, you might go into a Royce thing and be like and get inspiration from that. M not having the background is no way in the world he's going to go into that session and get what you would expect him to put onto a mic for a consistent project. Like he could probably put a song together for it. Like, oh shit, I was super inspired by what Royce is saying. I can make a song out of that one, which you've heard in the past, an amazing song that was probably on a project, and then the rest of the thing just flooded out with like other just streams of consciousness that goes through his brain, which is usually picking fights with other white people.
He might get disheartened.
Okay. He might get shut up, Flex.
No, I'm dead serious. You sitting in the studio, Royce is making all this magical music, and then part of you realizes like, I can't do that. I can't get to that. That would dishearten you.
He's not supposed. My God,
he's being a dick.
God.
He's so being a dick, bro. I'm not rolling.
But he's not. He's also not supposed to, bro.
All right, man. I'm not arguing. We saying the same shit. I got a question. Well, L has a question for the listeners, and I feel like he was directing this at Lex because it couldn't have been to me because you already know my answer. Have you ever seen a woman that was out of your league, Lex?
That was for the room.
I'm a thing.
This is so sick. Because the second I read it, I went, no. No. What? Or
it talks to you, right?
Or niggas not being honest.
No, I'm saying I'm really thinking.
It talks to you, and it's.
Have you?
What?
Have you?
What?
Nah, bro. I have not, but the reason why I framed the question that way, right, was because of the lack of confidence that there is in having conversations with the opposite sex. Like, I think that the reason why you would spend your entire life trying to get your financial shit together in order for you to then eventually be able to shit on the opposite sex for your own gain is only due to not believing that in the first place you are on the same, like you can operate on the same level. So I'm not even going to tend to the fact that you may have something like socially or mentally for me that'd be liberating or can be attached to what I'm doing so that we can move forward like that. I think it literally comes down to, and why we tend, and why not we, but why people tend to go after the exact carbon copy of the exact same thing.
So people having a type reveals a lot about them.
For sure. Because I was listening to this conversation, and usually what tends to come up is always talking about somebody that has more than you do at any given time. Because there's always going to be somebody that has more than you. Like that's just a given. And then factoring that into, therefore, not being able to even be in the presence of the exact same woman or man or whatever, depending on like what you're for. But with that being said, even if you had the luxury in these type of conversations to be with that person, you can still lose them to somebody that has more in certain settings because of knowing that y'all aren't on the same playing field, which was an interesting mentality to go into something with, which lets me know that there's already a fractured relationship between the two.
Say that one more time. I think I understand. Just that last part.
Oh, on the going into
yeah.
So going into a situation and realizing that you can lose them to somebody that has more already presents a fractured relationship between the two. So you're either going to be mentally, physically abusive to the situation,
facts,
making sure that they never have the confidence to leave.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah.
So that's where I got the whole, have you seen somebody else out of your league? Because if that's what you're walking this earth thinking, that there's someone outside of your league, then obviously the catch-up part of this is gonna be brought into play by something exterior that's gonna be in some type of way damaging and also dangerous too.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 'cause I think trying to catch up in a certain type of way is gonna make you definitely physically, mentally.
Well, because then what the one part people never consider is like say none of the shit happens, none of it manifests or presents itself in the process of catching up. Mm-hmm. When you do catch up and you're now above status wise. Mm-hmm. You're not fucking with that person no more, you know. So it's this weird sort of, yeah, man.
Or you quote unquote have them, but now you stop doing anything.
Yeah, you stop doing everything you did to get them. It's a really weird thing that you got to address.
But then be ready to take them off the face of this earth when you lose them.
Yeah.
All this is fragile.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting concept, an interesting thing to talk about, and just in how attractive confidence is. And for whatever reason, how easy it is to get it convoluted or get it confused with arrogance and all the other shit, especially when it comes to black folks. Like the worst thing is how monopolized our existence and our just communication and exchange with one another is monopolized by white culture. Confidence is hella fucking important. And anyone that'll tell you otherwise is absolutely lying. Like it's so not fair. And it's back to the Verzuz conversation. It's like, yo, you could be broke, you could look crazy, fuck with you, and watch how the world will open up. It's a real simple concept. It's much harder. It's much harder to execute and display though. That I'll give you.
Yeah.
But that's a funny way to start that. It's like, have you ever seen anyone outside of your league? It's like, no, nope.
It's interesting, man, because we've had this conversation a few different times, different ways. So I just kind of roll out this entire idea in increments because it has so many. It's multifaceted.
Yeah.
The play between sexes, you know what I'm saying? So like I usually tend to give something another nuance to the equation, just to eventually bring it into a full scope of why do we all do what we do, and for what reasons, for who, and why is everybody so culpable with it?
Huh.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to figure out how we got to there. You know what I'm saying? So like that's always been that's a constant thing that
so much of our value and status is wrapped up in acceptance, and not even forget the opposite sex or who you're trying to attract. Like a lot of the times it's status amongst your peer group. Mm-hmm. So male to male, woman to woman, in that competition. And like, do you think that peer group is out of your league? That you see that shit a lot, man, where people are weird themselves out of situations simply acting as if they don't belong. Mm-hmm. It's like, bro, what?
Yeah,
they acquired the same tools you got. They got the same toolbox and all this, and like it may be different dynamics of it, but what you do with what you got is going to tell the story ultimately. You know, it's an interesting dynamic of what, you know, just how that determines so much of our value for us and how we project that outwardly too. Mm-hmm. Damn, man, good shit. I didn't get to see President Obama with Desus and Mero.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, it was good. It's you know, Obama's on his run too. So shout out to Obama for that.
It's for a book or
for his book. For his book, it's about 700 pages of information. But he said he did that so
long-winded OGs.
Yeah, he said he did that so that he can for like the casual person, they could get like the detailed decision making or whatever. Because
hey, newsflash: the casual person ain't reading. Nothing, let alone 700 pages.
Dead ass. But like the casual politician, you would say. But the what kept coming up, because you know this is in front of Desus and Mero, so Desus and Mero, the way that they're going to interview you, bro, is going to be unique. Right?
Did they ask him about the do-rag in the White House?
No, they did. Damn. No, they didn't get to that. But there was a lot of talk around the work that was done for Black people while in office.
Yeah.
So, like, what did you actually do? Just straight up, like, what did you actually do for Black people in the office?
Run down the list, fam. Run down the list, fam.
Yeah. So, like, the ongoing topic that would take place from, like, if that question would come up, it's simply put, and they helped them out with this as well, but that you have to keep in mind that this individual was a politician. So he's a politician first and foremost, not a Black person. So the fact that Black people felt that he was going to do something specific for them would be misinformed because of what. As a politician going into this, it wasn't like Trump that wasn't a politician whatsoever, so it would just come in here gung-ho for his base. As a politician, you look at this role and you try to do things that unfortunately is not going to get passed because you don't have the Senate, you don't have the judges, you don't have Congress. All of that stuff is actually from the opposite side. So all of that stuff is actually going to be Republican, and Republicans' entire existence while he was in office for the entire 8 years was to make sure that, okay, y'all got y'all image of having a Black person in this highest seat, but let's see if you think that he's about to pass any of these things that he's trying to pull off, right? So this was my thought when I first like as he was in office and I was hearing all that stuff about like what is he doing for Black people, and unfortunately we tend to do this to ourselves where we expect that somebody's going to save us, especially our government, and then we look to this man that's has a black man, has a black family, black children. What's up, man? How you doing? So you look to them and think that he's going to automatically save this entire group of people, but that wasn't what the plan of action was. Like, the plan of action, yes, was to do as much as he possibly can for America, first and foremost, which I think that he did. So the imagery was probably the most important thing that we had, it was important. It was also damaging, unfortunately, but to have that person in that role was important. It opened up doors mentally that is possible. But for two, the family aspect of things, how the family came across, was super important. Then when you get into like the actual day-to-day politicking, was super important too, because you're showing a level head of not losing your cool, when obviously all they want to do is make you do so. So those three things were executed at a super high, efficient level that isn't talked about enough. I think more and more people thought that it was going to be a complete savior role without knowing how politics work. And then when you see Trump get in office and you think that, oh, he just came in and did this, that, and the other, best believe that there's nobody from another color that's going to be running America that would be able to pull off the things that he pulled off. So get that out of your mind, that you think that was going to just take place if a black person was in that role, bro. Like, just get that out of your mind. That's not how this thing works. You have to deal with 100 people before you actually get to the crux of a problem. And if you have 85% of that group fighting against you, not even listening to you, just wants the opposite thing of what you're saying, regardless of what it is, even if it was something that was for the betterment of them, they didn't hear it out. All they heard was, this is coming from a character that I do not want to operate in this role. I want them to fail at all costs. Then that's what happened. So he kind of touched on that, which was my thought process on him being in office, and me thinking more so he had to have the imagery of him was way more important than the actual work that was able to get passed. But he touched on a good amount of that stuff. I'm unfortunately not going to read the book. So with all that said,
keep it a bean.
I mean, I read 700-page books, but I'm not about to read Obama's days in office, because me personally, I'm not interested in hearing how many no's somebody was told by America. Like, I'm cool off of that.
The detail.
Yeah, I'm not here for the detail, but I did want to kind of just touch on the fact that what bro was actually, what 44 was actually doing, and what was actually being passed, and what could be done, as opposed to, No,
I think that's an interesting dialogue to have. It's a harder one to have because a lot of emotions get trumped up. No pun, but that expectation. And you've heard Dave Chappelle say it. You've heard all of these people say what they identify as before they identify as a black man or woman. And so you go, yo, I'm a politician, fam. Like, the fact that you have to explain that, and then that there's so many novices now interested in something because someone that looks like them is entered that arena. And now everyone's just an expert, like, immediately from the rip. Like, fuck fam dedicating a larger part of his life to politics.
Bro,
his family. You know more than him. His family is invested. Everything. It don't matter, man. You black. You supposed to do this because I said so, and it benefits me, and it highlights a fracture. That's ultimately something that's got to be talked about deeper, but it also mostly highlights that burden, that new access for somebody black, and new money for somebody black does here, and that pressure, and a lot of times you put it on yourself before anyone can do it to you. And so now you're like, oh man, I got to put on for my family. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's like, fam, can you get your situation straight first before you start trying to put everybody on? Because then what happens with it all when it's all gone and the foundation isn't sturdy? I'm almost certain I told this on the pod before, but I was saying it the other night at dinner. Saying one of the greatest lessons of my entire lifetime I've learned living at our place now, and literally being there long enough to watch the building next door be built. And for the first 8 months, possibly longer, there was at 6 o'clock every morning, fam, the most insane drilling sound would start. I'm like, God damn. And then eventually you like, I'm going to walk out and this building's going to be done. Nigga, for 8 months, I didn't see nothing. And then my sister comes home, she's like, yeah, they $2 million over budget. Whoa. And ain't nothing out of the ground yet? And I thought about it, I was like, holy fuck. They blew the budget on the foundation. So no matter what happens to this structure on top, nigga, it's going to be legit. Because they over budget and been working on it way longer. No one's ever going to see it. Ever. So while we talking about what you look like, what you got, what you can pay for, nigga, no one's ever going to have the discussion on, hey, man, you went to film school? They don't give a shit at all. Was that movie tight or no? And it's so funny. Again, back to last night, man, if there was anything to learn from Unc and them last night is fuck with you. Just fuck with you, and the rest of the world, hey, it don't matter. But as a byproduct of fucking with you, guess what? The whole world showed up and was like, oh, we fuck with these niggas. Like, it's just that. So I hate that. I hate that the conversation around President Obama is oftentimes around what he didn't do for black people.
It's unfortunate, man, because we saw how much turmoil happened in the last 3.5 years, man. And where we are now because of just complete utter
just the imagery of one person.
Disregard for humanity, bro. Like, for a person to actually steady the ship is the hardest of jobs that could possibly be done. And once a steadying hand happens, you see how quickly America loses its shit, turns this motherfucker upside down, flips the damn table, and
is now seeking,
and then try to tell folks, like, try to figure out how to pick this shit back up. Like, bro, like it's you have to look at the full picture and stop thinking that somebody's supposed to come here and save you. Yeah, that shit ain't happening, bro. Like the saving grace shit, that it's not taking place in that way. Yeah. Like somebody's not about to come hand you your reparations. I mean, like, just because I'm in office and you think that should be the first order. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this thing goes. You can get your whole list of things that you want to have done and see if that shit can get passed because we didn't get the whole fucking cabinet. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think of when that list is about to take place? Like, they ain't looking at one group of people. Besides, like, the mass structure that's already put together. Like, how much if you take something off the table and give it to and push it off the table and get the scraps down, right? You have less on the table, right? Like, have y'all seen the fucking what was that? What was that movie when they was in jail, when they was in a prison, and you wake up after like 2 weeks or some shit, and you're on a different level, but they have the food that comes from the top down.
He's gonna know. I have no idea.
Fuck, I forgot. Did you watch that shit, bitch?
No.
Shit.
It sounds like Fifth Element for some reason, but I know it's not Fifth Element.
Nah, something called it came out probably like last year. But basically, the concept behind this movie was that it's a jail. It's a new concept for a prison, and it's basically rich people that created the shit, and they have it where you have your prison cells, and you have 2 people per level, and it goes all the way down, right? Like fucking 300 levels. But on the top level, you have the kitchen, and they create all the food or whatever. You have a whole table of food, and then
As it gets pass it down.
Yeah, as it gets to the first level, that level has all the food that we have in the kitchen, and it's supposed to. And the idea is that by the time it gets to like the 50th level, there's basically just bones and plates left behind. So what are people going to do after a few? The platform. So what are people going to do after you get to that level? Like, I haven't ate in 3 days, bro. Like, for 2 days, nigga, I'm like, nigga, I can hold off on this shit. But by that third, fourth day, nigga, my stomach is rumbling, nigga. So, nigga, I'm about to eat you, my nigga. Like, that's the idea behind how this American thing works, is that on the top level, you have everything
you need.
But if you allow it to be that by you get to the 300 level and we still got some shit, because if people on each level just took what they needed, then everybody will be able to be good. And you wake up 2 weeks from now, you be on a different level and you have everything you need to be good. It's not much that's going to be changing your class, but if people at the top is just like, nah, this nigga at the bottom ain't about to get shit. Because I was at the bottom at some point, nigga, and bottom in my mind.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of how this thing be rolling. So, yeah, you think that nigga, when they get to that office and they not gonna be a politician or whatever, they about to just get your people in and have that. Nah, that ain't about to take place like that, bro. It ain't taking place like that. That's not how this thing goes. Because you take something off that table, that means it's less for the folks that we about to get that's trying to eat. You know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting mentality that we have towards like that whole Obama administration deal, bro.
Damn, and I want to hella see that movie too.
That's just wild.
Staying in entertainment, G. You said you only fucking with miniseries now, and and now The Outsider's canceled. So I don't know what to do.
It got me. It's canceled. It's canceled on HBO. So HBO is not gonna return it. So now they're free agents.
So who you think gonna pick it up?
Netflix.
Can Netflix afford that?
Shit. Netflix can afford whatever the hell they want.
Hey, Outsider was phenomenal, bro.
I was thinking Amazon.
Amazon might. Shit, Apple might. And like
Apple.
Somebody wants
I'd prefer to see it go to Apple.
But then again, Apple doesn't tend to like grab shit that's already established. Like they want
to make new shit. Anybody will be lucky to pick up second season of Outsider.
For sure.
It's got legs for sure. But what got you only fucking with miniseries?
Remember when I was talking about I was the biggest hater for the miniseries at the beginning. Like I was like, bro, I'm not about to don't get me into some shit and it be over with. Like I'm not doing things that way. So that started off with the idea behind Watchmen.
Yeah.
I was mad at the Watchmen being just one season, bro. Like I'm not about to sit here and watch a few episodes. Yeah, for sure.
They bodied that shit.
But as I've watched a few miniseries since then, and they are
turning up on
high
that ass.
and above the rest of the shit that you can come across.
Yes,
and then
sir.
Simultaneously me going back and watching them damn seasons of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, people probably have like creators, the producers and shit like that, the writers, they may have a strong 5 in them. Once you get past 5,
it's hard to do.
It's fillers. Yeah, you've
been saying that. Lex been saying that
for years. Yeah. 5. After 5,
they may have a strong 5. So with that being said, just give me that strong 1. Give me that strong 8 episodes, 6, 8, 9, 10 episodes. I just watched Devs, bro.
Crazy.
That shit, mind blowing. To the point where when it ended and they told you what Devs actually stood for, like you think it's development for tech. Like it's a tech department that just develops shit. So that's the term that they use for tech industries or whatever, right? So that's that department. But the entire series is based off of making this picture clearer for you. So they're showing you just new, like fuzzy image to begin with, and then by the end, it's clear as day what the creator wanted to pull off. The creator of this company, of this tech company, what he wanted to pull off. So by the last episode, and at the very end, he reveals what he really meant by Devs, but he just ran with it. That people thought it was development. It helped him be able to do this little, like, do this project over to the side without the government being so hands-on or into, like, what the fuck he's doing. Bro, that shit was mind-blowing. So, and Devs is the creator of Ex Machina.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely got to watch.
So that was his long-winded frame of, like, it was a salute to when he did Ex Machina, what Devs actually is. But yes, fucking. So yeah, miniseries. I'm here all day. I'm actually might be off of the.
Welcome to the club, kid.
Yeah, man. It's on me. It's on me.
Real quick before we get out, talk sports. You fuck with baseball like that? You fuck with baseball like that?
Yeah. I'm way more into baseball now. I got into the stats of it, so that's what you gotta.
Yeah, you baseball guy now, really? Yeah,
Not really.
Okay.
Like I go to a game, but like watching it on TV can't do it.
Yeah, the game depends on the arena. Like, if they got a nice arena, bro, you might not even watch the game. You
just be in there,
just be in there vibing.
The MLB is now going to acknowledge all the Negro League stats. So that's upwards to like 3,400 players. I'd like to celebrate it and go, oh, that's dope. But I saw the headline and was like, wait, they don't do that already? I was like, wait, nigga, it's 2020.
Mani. What did I say earlier in this pod?
Jesus.
I said, this is the best time in the history of being an American.
Oh, man.
For us. So, like, you can say what you want about wanting to leave America, bro. No, I want to be right the fuck here while they're walking on so many eggshells about everything.
Jesus.
Like,
to make the MLB,
look how wild it was.
That's crazy. To get the MLB to change for it not to have happened already, but now for it to happen, it's like, okay, everybody's pulling on these marketing straw dollars, whatever, to retain any type of liberal viewership. This is crazy. I'm sorry. This is insane. 2020, and you go, hey, y'all, we going to acknowledge all the Negro League stats. And then they had a press rollout for it. I'm sorry, bro. This shit is comedy.
Wait till the Negro League jerseys start popping out.
Again? Yeah. They already had. Okay, so why didn't you do it when they were popping the first time? Like that would you just missed the window to market. Like everybody I know had a Negro League jersey.
It wasn't time yet, bro. Like
this is goofy.
Washington didn't approve like changing their name.
The Indians are changing their name.
They didn't approve their this is the moment that folks need to capitalize on. Like going forward. Going forward, like
we can't even keep up what's happening right now.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
Because it's like the rollouts are like the CDC is doing rollouts of very important information at fucking Saturday nights at like 2 a.m. It's pretty crazy. I'm just saying, like, we got to start watching how all these rollouts happen of all this like important ass information because you're like, bruh, wait, what? The Cleveland Indians after 100 years of existing, the Washington Redskins after however many years, the baseball as a whole. Like it's sports shit, but it's also just like it's capitalism at its finest because it's like it's their boys club. Like where that like the money that they generate from fucking their teams, like bro that owns the Clippers, that's play money.
Super play.
Like that literally is his equivalent of like I'm going to hang with my niggas like to kick it.
That's what sports teams are for the owners though.
We got to get our money up, nigga.
Like it's like
we playing the wrong game.
It's like playing a game of chess, bro. Like they see all these players and organizations stuff like that, bro. That is they play night. Like they go in there, fuck about this. Like I don't care. Like the only thing I care about is is there gonna be a bit of a return on this? Like am I gonna get? Is there going to be anything to turn on it? But also, then, can I get all of my business partners into this thing and turn this thing up?
If the long play for them acknowledging because all of the Negro League players is dead now, so even to have them like be a part of it, and go, all right, we're going to do activations in the community and get more. Like, there was all kind of baseball leagues when we were kids. And even then, my dad was like, bro, it was way more leagues when we were like, everybody played baseball. Like, by the time I started playing baseball, me and Deshaun were the only black kids on our team. And then it may have been a few others in the league, but for the most part, that was it. Now, I don't know no black kids that's playing baseball at all.
It's not intuitive to like not project, but like just like hood locations. Like, it's too expensive.
Man, G Baby is a legend, nigga. You got me fucked up.
I'm saying
strike one. I'll sing the whole song on you right now.
Bro, all these
Sammy, what?
Bro, it's
and we're the sickos now.
You feel me?
And we're the sickos.
Hardball, baby.
Like, just think about all the things that you need to put together to have a baseball team, bro. Like, you gotta get bats, you gotta get the balls, you gotta have the uniforms, you gotta have a field that they maintain.
That's all luxury.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, like, intuitive to like people.
You don't need
playing.
a glove.
You need the gloves, bro. For basketball, bro, roll a basketball out, and then you can get 100 of those. And for a football, nigga, roll a football out, and then you can get 100 of those, bro. Like, that's why you play that. I would say soccer, but you gotta get the goals. So, well, we used to have when I used to go out there with Stanley. Shout out to Stanley. We used to have like you just get like the bags and just have to make the goals out of the bags. And you be out there. They could play soccer, bro, for 13 hours straight. You just get, and you don't even have like an actual goal structure. You can get 2 trash cans.
I was about to say the trash cans.
Yeah. So, I guess soccer should have more black people in it.
Paige,
have you seen her play?
How do you pronounce her name?
I think it's Bukers or something.
Why are the new female hoopers that can't pronounce their names at all?
Because they making them out somewhere. But
she's insane.
Bro.
UConn point guard.
Bro. Y'all seen her play that?
She's averaging like 27 or something silly like that. Is she? She not a freshman?
Yes, she is.
Jesus Christ.
She was the top player in the country, but
can she leave early now?
No, hell no. I would wish, right?
That's crazy.
She need to, because she's doing that as a freshman, but like, bro, like her game isn't like, it's not like she's, like she's not fluid or nothing, bro. Like, she out here crossing
cooking.
She doing some and one shit, bro.
Cooking.
For real.
Blender. What you want? Like this.
Hot sauce?
No, that ain't sauce don't want that part. That want that smoke.
It's like the professor. Like a little
Young Fest.
What you want? You want this floater from the 3-point line? I got that.
A floater from the 3-point line is crazy.
What you want?
Oh my gosh. Do we have anything else, Lex Pub? Anything coming up? We good?
I think we good.
We good. G, you got anything?
Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody.
Oh, will it? Oh, it will be. This the episode gonna get them through Christmas? Oh man, happy job that. Hey, okay. The Sid still Santa vibes.
Halfway.
Wait a minute. What kind of sicko daughter halfway don't believe in Santa no more?
Nah, because because that's me being how I am. Santa got you one of those, but the rest of them came from you know who they came from, right? So he dropped you off the one small one, but that real big shit, yeah, that's me and your mom's. We put in on that.
Santa, aka Pops.
Oh man, my parents, man, you know what? I owe my dad and Coco a fade because might have been 3, maybe 4, and. We had just watched Home Alone. It's like, oh man, we gotta leave out milk and cookies for Santa. Didn't have no milk. For sure didn't have no cookies. Mom's goes, oh, it's a cobra in there and a zebra cake. I know who eats that, nigga. Like, I knew Santa wasn't real after that, nigga. The zebra cake, it was one bite and the king cobra was gone. That's E-Baby for sure. Merry Christmas, nigga. God damn. Like,
hey, shit, Pops used to pull up with the bag from where it came from. So
the receipt and shit.
It was full transparency on our side.
But in fairness, he always had on a Santa hat. Every year, Unc pulled up in whatever he was driving with the Santa hat on. But you were definitely getting a bag with the receipt in it still.
Yeah, that was a gift.
Shit.
The year we got Dreamcast, that was awesome.
No,
That
Dreamcast was lit.
Yeah.
First off, bro, that didn't get enough credit in history of gaming.
Yeah, we gotta re-rank the Dreamcast. Dreamcast
Hey.
broke in a lot of. We wouldn't have
Like
2K.
it wasn't here for long, but nigga, that shit was fire.
It broke shit open though, for sure.
Not only that, just for the fact that you could play burnt games in it.
No, nigga, that was the game changer. Like niggas was burning games. It's like, yo, you want that new whatever? What? Come on now. 2K, the fucking memory card you could play the run your plays on, so they couldn't see your plays. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome. Well, fellas, it's been real. Enjoy your.
You didn't have your best of 2020?
Oh, I did have it. Nah,
We could save it for next time.
we could
That
save it.
right
Yeah,
before
that'll
New
be.
Year's.
Yeah. I need to work that out too because I saw the Rap Radar best of 2020, and then KQED's best of 2020 for just the Bay, and for me it was a lot of significant shit missing for 2020 records. So I definitely want to do that because some. If we're talking about like one of those years that we're never gonna forget, like the niggas who were able to make headway in 2020, we gotta big them up. Like Royce nominated for a Grammy is fucking crazy. Like so yeah, let's do that next week.
2020 for sure gonna have its own book.
100%.
You
Just
can't
to
make a chapter out of 2020.
the concert industry, like how many, and then it's just revealed how many major artists are dependent upon being able to tour. And so we got to really reimagine and rethink what anyone's generating off of fucking streaming. If everybody's dependent, like, nigga, the biggest names were like, yeah, I'm not dropping a record. It was financially not conducive for certain people not to drop records. And we saw that. So hopefully this bitch opens back up for festival season next year, or it's going to be scary for some niggas because everybody's dependent upon hitting the stage. So thank y'all, everybody. YouTube viewership, Apple, Spotify, you name it. Like, subscribe, rate, comment, and share it as our currency. Follow the Instagram page at Meet the Brave Podcast. It's been another episode, and we'll see y'all next week.
Love.
Yes.